Okay. All right. Well, hello and welcome everybody on this training call tonight. And I'm going to teach, we're going to talk and about how you can become a great communicator so that we take your business to the next level. Now, in order to be successful in our business, leverage sales in network marketing, we must first and foremost become great communicators. Now, it doesn't have to take years to get there. In fact, I can show it to you in 20 minutes. So that's a great deal. So the great deal is I can show it to you in 20 minutes, but you have to, of course, then apply. So this doesn't make any sense if you today, after this presentation, after this training, you go and you don't do the steps. Then you will be exactly where you were before. Now, if you are having a massive success, if you are really successful, if you're at the top, great, I congratulate you. But if you're not, then, well, let's change and, of course, start new, isn't it? So we have, unfortunately, the belief that only people who are successful in network marketing or leverage sales, which is our industry, are the superstars, the outgoing people, the charismatic social, people. But that's not totally true. It's not true. And we thought, of course, that was true in the 1960s when they really taught that. Now, but in the 1960s, this is what they told people to do. That's what they told people to do in network marketing. Now, unfortunately, this often nowadays is still being applied. And I just want you to think, how does it feel when we do this to them? So they signed up and you say, okay, Sean, now that you signed up, get a pen and paper. We're going to write down every human being, even if you don't know their name, even if you don't know their details. Now we're going to call, okay? And we're going to call and beg them for an appointment. And if nobody gives us an appointment, then we're going to go and use the 3-foot rule. Does anybody know what is the 3-foot rule here?
No.
That was taught in the beginning days of network marketing. So tell me, where this is.
Well, somebody that if you're out and about and somebody's within 3 feet of you, you kind of try and get eye contact and try and make conversation or something to where you can then share what it is that you're doing, or just trying to make contact, really.
Correct. And this was really taught, that's correct, Michelle. And this was really taught really going back to the 1960s, and really to harass everybody within 3 feet to us. This was taught in our industry. And finally, of course, if eventually somebody talks to us, we say, just shut up and sit down and listen. And I'm going to talk to you 45 minutes because I'm going to show you some flip chart, some slides. I tell you all about it. And, you save the questions until the end of the presentation because I may have covered already this question in the presentation. And that is what we have been taught. Of course, to let people listen until the end of the presentation because, again, that's what they're supposed to do. That is really what most networkers today still teach. And even in big meetings, even in big, huge presentations, this is what they still talk. But of course, nobody likes that because nobody wants to be sold. And nobody wants to, put down and be harassed. So then, of course, what we also have been taught, so now when you sit down and you listen and you shut up, you don't say anything until we finish the presentation, then you may gonna have some objections. And we're gonna squeeze you and gonna handle those objections and manipulate them against you and humiliate humiliate you, and we're going to make you feel terrible, and we're going to close you as hard as we possible can. And then you say, well, you need to think it over. And you know what? I'm going to harass you until you buy or you die. This sort of literally was the mentality. And what did many people do back then in the days, and still now till to the day? Just that I get rid of this person. Okay, I'm going to buy a product. Just that people still do that. My mother would be a perfect candidate for it. I tell you, a perfect candidate. She would be for that. So, and this is really how the industry of network marketing started. And this is why the industry of network marketing or multi-level marketing has gotten that bad name. And this is why, of course, we now changing it really to another name, because there's almost no solution to it, because the name has gotten so bad. And that's why we is talking about leverage sales. But let's get started on a different path and really educate people on how to do this business, because we are not anymore in 1960. And Sean, you're in the computer industry. If you don't follow trends, what's happening?
Yeah, if you don't follow the trends, you're never going to make it. You'll fall out the bus.
Correct. So now, how many people in here actually today here in this presentation have actually noticed that people, or maybe you even have been approached, or if you have actually noticed people still doing it that way 50 years later? Who has ever gotten like in a situation like that? Anybody on the call?
Yeah, we do that in something that I do already. Yeah.
Good. Well, let's change it. So we talk about, people all about our products. We talk about our deal. But this is not how people like to buy, because they hate to be sold. Now, the question is, do people like when we do this to them? And the answer, of course, is obviously no. And do we like this, or we like doing this actually to people? No. And why then we do this to them? If nobody likes it, we're going to stop. We're going to stop doing this to people if they don't like it, because this is not how our human mind works. So if you look at the questions I'm going to put up in a second here, those questions which I had put up already in the prior, of course, meetings in the series of which we are doing, this is how the human mind works. And if you learn to apply it, you will be, I promise you, in the 90, and I can say that because I know that's true, you will be in the top 99 of all network marketers, even in the 99.9 of all network marketers in the next 20 minutes. How's that? Would you like to learn that?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Because,
yes.
Good. Because most network marketers don't, again, realize that they're in what business?
Decision-making business.
Mm-hmm. And the company is in a different business, correct? Nobody here on this call is out there and refining the gold or minting the doré to refine it, right? Or you're not extracting the oil either out of the ground. That's the company's business. But the company is not us. The company has its lawyers, its websites, its logistics, its packing. They don't need us. What they need us for is to help people make a decision, okay? Because we get paid when people make a decision and buy a product. So for all of us here on the call tonight, we have chosen a career in what business?
Leverage sales, decision-making.
Decision-making
both in
business.
Yes. And once we get that, everything changes. If we are in the decision-making business, the most important thing we want to know is how do the people we talk to actually are going to make up their mind. How are they going to make up their mind? So I'm going to show you, of course, some examples and show you this little 4-step formula. We went already prior through it, but we're going to go through it again. Now, prior through in the other trainings. Now, if you go through this formula you notice, of course, there are like 5 little triggers for the human being to make a decision. And the first triggers, of course, is what? Do you remember the first trigger? Anybody here remembers the first trigger?
Can I trust you? No.
Good,
No.
but it's not the first. Who
First
are
one, yeah.
you? Who are
That's
you?
it. That's it.
Who are you? Now, you know, unfortunately, we cannot change that, not within the first seconds, okay? Not within the first 10 seconds we can change when we're talking to somebody, who are we? In the first 10 seconds, when we talk to somebody, our self-improvement on a scale of 1 to 10 is not gonna suddenly be a 6 or 7, right? When we especially start new. So you don't really have to think about who you are, because you cannot change that, okay? So let's say you look like somebody's ex, okay? Well, chances are, if you ended bad with your ex, chances are it's going to end pretty poorly, right? And the difference between me, let's say me, Claudia, giving a presentation, or Margot Robbie or Julia Roberts, it's also probably big. So, so who you are makes a difference, but we cannot control it, because I cannot be Julia Roberts or Margot Robbie. Okay, so we cannot control it. So we gonna set aside trigger number 1. Okay, we're gonna set aside trigger number 1. But the next 4 triggers, yep, we absolutely can rock them. Now, the easiest thing we can do is give a presentation, which of course is trigger number 5. And that's what? Giving a presentation. You can do easily a presentation. Push a button, play a video. Presentation done. Push a button, show Claudia giving a corporate presentation. Presentation done. Everybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Yes? But what's the problem? What's the problem? You see a problem here? So our presentation doesn't come after decision in step number 4. We have 5 steps, okay? But the step number 5 is, of course, the presentation. So we can't make step number 5 first. So don't worry about the presentation. Don't worry about giving the presentation. The only trigger points you really have to work on is trigger points 2, is trigger points 3, is trigger points 4. Okay, that's the only ones we have to focus and work on. So let's go through, of course, our day's trigger points very quickly. Trigger point number 2, and Michelle, you said it right. What was it?
Can I trust you?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Do they trust us? Do they believe us? Now, if nobody trusts us, they're not going to join us. They're not going to buy a product. Basically, it's over. It doesn't matter if you offer the product for a penny. It really doesn't matter. And if you don't believe, well, let's do an example. Let's say I'm going to sell you my brand new Mercedes, but I'm going to sell it to you half price. So you say, oh, you're going to sell me your brand new Mercedes half price? I said, yeah, I'm going to sell it to you tomorrow, meet you at the parking lot, and you're going to give me cash. What are you going to think? You're not from around here. I don't trust you. Might be something wrong with this car. But half price of a brand new Mercedes-Benz, this is it. I mean, this is a deal of the century, isn't it? But we are skeptical because it's no report and trust and belief. Okay? So that's why I said you can sell products for a penny. They're not going to buy it if there's no trust, report, and belief. So getting people to trust and to believe us is the very first step. We do this before we do anything else. So report, if you do not have it, why do you even bother with the presentation? Why do you even bother with giving a video out? Why do you even bother with giving a sales funnel out? Why? It doesn't make sense, right? So it's never going to happen if you don't have built this report. So step number 2, then what we're going to do is going to be, of course, very interesting. And that is called, of course, what we have taught in the other presentations, is the icebreaker, using icebreakers. This is where we introduce the business, our business, into a very social conversation. So many new distributors or affiliates, they try to do this sort of forced in a not appropriate manner, I would say. Let me explain. Let's say you're in a funeral, okay? We just had coronavirus, or still having coronavirus. This is just an example, yeah? And you're actually allowed to go to the funeral, just let's say. So you're at the funeral and you're saying to the person, well, I'm so sorry for your loss, and it's really hard. And, especially in those times with all this coronavirus and, people losing jobs, and the economy is bad, and it's really, really tough. Now, but I just joined an opportunity. I have a business, or I can show you, or I have a solution for all this craziness which is going on. So this wouldn't be really appropriate, but people try to do that. So let's learn the right way, okay? So we do need the right icebreakers, and then, of course, use them the appropriate way. And step number 3, what is it then? Well, step number 3 is close, because trigger number 4 is what? Anybody remembers trigger number 4? What is trigger number 4? Hello, my fellow students.
I can't remember now.
Is that the 1 minute? Do you have 1 minute?
The trigger number 4 is yes or no. The decision.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The presentation is the 1 minute presentation. This is what we're going to talk today about it at the end. But yes, trigger number 4 is to say a yes or no, because what? We don't give a presentation before we haven't got a yes or no, correct?
Yeah, before the commitment.
Correct. So let's learn to do that, or all of that basically, in what? I don't know, let's say 10 seconds. And while we edit, let's make it 100% rejection free while we edit. Sounds okay?
Yes.
Good. So let me share now, finally, my screen. Where's my screen? Here with my brand new presentations. All right, so here, slideshow. Go there from current slide. Okay, so our 4 simple steps to get our prospects making a decision. Yes. Sorry, this wasn't the one. Sorry, it was too far. There we go. We go here. Yeah, let's go here again from current slide. Yep. So to be able to guide prospects into making decisions, we must first understand what our prospects are thinking when they meet us, when we take a look into the minds of a prospect. We talked about that. Who are you? Is important. We can't change it. Can I trust you? Am I interested in what you're saying? Am I actually interested, or am I not? Do I want it, or do I not? Yeah, I want your opportunity. Can you give me some more information so I feel better about this? This is all what we need to know. And this is all what our new affiliates need to know in their first 20 minutes of course, learning the communication skills before they go out and talk to people. Can we all learn that in 20 minutes? Hello?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Good.
I'm talking as I'm muted. Yes.
So we said we are in the business of decision making. Yes. We already clarified that. And I have this for you guys. Everybody is getting this guide, so you don't have to worry. It's good to write things down, but we have everything for you there so that you can just follow the steps. Okay? All right. Mm-hmm. So let's go here. So step 1, we build rapport. Okay. Step 2, we use the icebreaker. Step 3, we close. Step 4, we do the presentation. Yes, this is our steps and they do not change. Okay, you get that? You really have to get it in your mind. They never change. This is how it works. We don't get a yes decision, we don't present. We don't get a yes decision, we don't show them sales funnel. We don't get a yes decision, we don't send them video. We don't. Okay? Can we all make that? Can we all learn that?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Good. So let's go here and use our magic words and our icebreakers. Now, when we talk with people, when we are in that conversation, when people talk to us, what do you find is what most people, again, we're using most people, like. Most people like to be listened, but most people talk because people like to talk. So we have to first and foremost become great listeners. When we become great listeners, we can then use gratefully our icebreakers, because then we can actually change that conversation, or not change this conversation, but actually repeat the problem they just stated and give them the opportunity. So it doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter who you met, it doesn't matter in which situation you are. People are continuously always complaining, or they're complaining about they don't have enough money, or they're complaining about they can't travel at the moment, or they're complaining about coronavirus, or they're complaining about their boss, or they're complaining because they have no time, or they're complaining because their kids are all the time screaming, or they're complaining because there's homeschool. Correct? They're complaining all the time, aren't they?
Correct.
So now let's use this complaint and say, and reverse that. So let's use this complaint. We listen to people, and let's say Sean complains to me, you know what, I'm sitting here stuck, whatever, all day long on my computer, and then you have this new guy who developed this new system who can basically replace my job. That really sucks. And so I can then use what just he said and just repeat what he said, basically his statement, and attach an icebreaker. Just attach an icebreaker. I'm going to show you how this works. Very, very simple. Everybody can do that. So what Sean will say when I basically say, oh, wow, that's of course true. I mean, this must be really hard if all these years in your career learning this job to do, and then you have one guy who just replaces your work. So what if you didn't have to worry about that, and you would make another 1,000 pounds just as quick as this guy has basically made your job obsolete. Whatever, I mean, you can do so many things you can use. Or let's say the mom is complaining because she has to do homeschooling at the moment and cannot afford a nanny to do it with, or a private teacher to do it with. Okay, well, I feel your pain. I mean, this must be really hard to try to work from home, because you have to work from home to look after the kids, to try to educate them or homeschool them. I mean, that must be really hard. Would it be okay? Would it be okay if you would make enough money part-time that you could afford a homeschool teacher or a nanny who could look after your kids while you build your business and make more money than before? Would it be okay? Yeah. Tell me more. Is this easy? Can we learn that?
Yes, we can learn that.
So you got to just listen, and you're going to see, of course, some scripts. I have scripts for you for literally everything. But just start with a few. You're going to learn more and more. So what we do is using these word phrases. Would it be okay? Is it okay? Why? Because would it be okay is, easy. It is not hard. It's not a big, hard, closed, tough approach. Would it be okay? If I say to you, Sean, would it be okay? Are you gonna say like rejection and no? Would you do that?
No.
But if I said to you, listen, Sean, you know what? I just got involved in this amazing business. This could be something for you. What would you say?
I'm on two minds because I've had so many people asking me the same question every day. So like, not really.
Okay, very different. Now, let me try another thing which most people don't like. Why? Because most people don't like to be sold. Now, Sean, um, would you be interested in whatever it is? Would you be interested in?
No. That's will be my first thing. So no.
So what I mean by that is when I say, and this is what we have been taught, myself included, I have been taught that as well. I even have been teaching that, but I was wrong. To say, would you be interested in? What is better, saying, would it be okay if, or would you be interested in?
Would it be okay if?
Because
give me options.
Yeah, because we're not interested. Because we get so many deals all the time. We're not interested. We are not interested. No. When somebody tells me interested, no, thank you. I don't even look at it, to be honest. I'm not. And this is the problem. But would it be okay is actually okay. So there is as well magic words which we use. And magic words are very easy to be employed when we're talking to people, when we build a rapport. Why? Well, because again, you are stating something which most people would agree to. So why don't you use the word most people? Well, most people like saving money. Most people want to save their bills. Most people want more money. Most people would rather work from their homes. Most people want something better. Most people want to protect themselves from urgency. What do you think the person in front of you would say? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, most people don't have money to invest. Yeah. So what's happening is when I say this, the prospect thinks, oh, yeah, she thinks like the same level as me. She's at the same level. Yeah, we think the same. Most people don't have money to invest. Yeah. Most people don't have money aside to save in gold and silver. Yeah, true. Most people don't. But would it be okay if I showed you a way how to do it? Very different approach. I first build rapport, and now would it be okay? Why not? Yes. Would it be okay? So magic words is really great. Now you can also use everybody knows. Everybody. How. Well, everybody knows it will be hard to get pay rises this year. Well, what do you think most people would say? Most people would agree to that. Yes. Or, well, how we would all like to make more money, or, well, how we would like to want to pick our children up from school, or, well, how it great would be to never work again, or, how smart people have all the income they want. So create approaches. So when we create our 1 minute per speech, that 1 minute presentation, we got to use these magic words like these icebreakers. Another one is, I just found out. Hey, Mary, I just found out how we can stay home with our children and still get a full-time paycheck. If you'd like to know how, I'm glad to tell you. Meanwhile, let's take the children to the park. Let's say you are with Mary, you are friends of Mary, you are basically with the children, picking the children up, maybe you're not friends, maybe you're just acquaintance, you maybe just see that but you're always picking up the children. This is where she is. Pretty simple. Very simple. I just found out. Hey, Mary, I just found out. So you have a conversation anyway with Mary. It's not a cold contact. And so at the same time, what you're saying is, meanwhile, let's take the children to the park. Or meanwhile, let's go back to work. Or meanwhile, let's go back to playing video games. So in a very subtle manner, without really sounding too salesy. Okay? This is when, of course, you talk to prospects or to people which you hang out with. Of course, the young people, let's say millennials, they play with their Xbox or their video games. Hey, Joe, just found out how we don't have to work the next 45 years of our life like our parents did. If you would ever like to know, I would be glad to tell you. Meanwhile, let's go back to playing video games. Yeah? Very, very simple to do. Now, another one, which of course I love very much, is, would it be okay if you never had to show up to work again? Would it be okay if you had 2 paychecks instead of 1? When do we use those phrases? We use these phrases once we have listened to our prospect. As we agreed upon before, all our prospects, the person we talk to, the person we approach, the person we whatever, they're always complaining. Everybody is always complaining. Let's listen to the complaining and let's say, let's say you're talking to pretty much, let's say a receptionist. You're on the reception in a hotel. And you say to the receptionist, you work on weekends? Yeah. Or you work every day? Yeah. And I work on weekends too. Oh, really? Would it be okay if there was a way that you could choose your own working hours? Oh yeah, of course. Pretty simple, isn't it? Now, let's say the roommate in the hotel. Very simple, you can talk with her. Are you satisfied with your paycheck? Are you overpaid? No, hell not. Well, would it be okay if you could get paid more than you're worth or more than you work for? Would it be okay to make a second income? Would it be okay? Or let's say you talk to the person you go out from, I don't know, from the hotel, and who's the security guy. You can just simply say, wow, you work every day? And say, yeah, every day, also weekends. And again, you can say, well, and you stand all day, all night? Yeah. Well, would it be okay if you didn't have to stand all night and you would make more money than you do now? Oh yeah, hell yes. How can I do that? So simple things which we can use, which will make the person to say a yes 100% every time. Understand? Is this clear? Any questions?
All good.
Anybody else? Any questions?
Fine, thank you. No, understand.
No.
No questions.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Definitely, yes. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, another great icebreaker, I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Is working from smartphone something you're looking for? I'm just curious. Is an extra paycheck what you're looking for? I'm just curious. If you could earn an additional paycheck without interfering with what you're currently doing, would you want to know more? I'm just curious. Are you married to your job, or are you leaving your options open? Let's say you are, again, eating outside. Like in Germany, we can now. I don't know how it is at your place. Yesterday, actually, was eating out. Had a great, Dr. Blue, don't listen right now because you're not allowed to. No, I'm just making a joke. Sorry. You know what I mean. I think I can do that. Sorry. Apologize. But I was eating yesterday a great meat platter. And all you vegetarians, I'm sorry. But I was at a great Greek restaurant, and I just loved my tzatziki and my meat plate, and it was really, really nice. I'm sorry, a nice lamb, and yeah. But the waitress, she was cool, nice, and she was tough, and it started to rain, and she was there and working, and she just really great, and I made her a compliment. Wow, you really, and the guy, and the barman, he was standing there, and he wouldn't help her carry the thing to cover up. He was just standing there and watching the rain coming down while she was like, and I made her a compliment. I said, wow, you're doing a great job. I mean, you're the boss here, huh? And she said, no, I work here part-time. I said, oh, what do you do? Then full-time. Well, I was just working in the bakery. I said, oh, okay. Are you married to your job? So just curious, are you married to your job, or do you have your options open? Yeah, I'm not married to my job. I certainly have my options open. What do you mean? So pretty simple. Very simple to do. Everybody can learn that. But of course, you got to have a little introduction, a little something to talk to people. And you can learn that, of course. Now, another thing, great icebreakers too, is what do you do? What do you do for a living? As I just said, well, I show people. So when people asking, what do you do for a living? Or what do you do? So you obviously have intrigued them, or you had a prior conversation, or you got into a conversation whatsoever. So they ask you, what do you do? What do you do for a living? Well, this is where most network marketers already are cooked. They don't know what to say. They mess it up. They just don't know. And of course, when they mess it up, the problem is that, their chance that they're going to buy or that they're going to join you basically is gone. So if you learn to, because we get those questions all the time. I mean, when I travel, all the time, I mean, this is almost the first thing they ask you is, what do you do? Why are you traveling there? What do you do? What do you do for a living? I mean, almost every single time. Well, I show people how to retire 10 years early at full pay. Oh, how do you do that? You see? And what do we want to get people to listen? Obviously, to ask us more information, correct? Give us a presentation. So pretty simple. What do you do? What do you do for a living? Well, I show people how to get out of debt fast and have sparkling good credit. Oh, does this sound good? Well, I show people how to save for their retirement without running their monthly budget. Very different than to sell a gold or silver savings plan, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because gold and silver savings plan is great. It's just not sexy. Sorry, guys, girls on the call.
We like sexy.
I know. Everybody likes sexy, whatever you understand without being offended, of course. So very simple. I show people how to create a savings account from their current monthly expenses. Oh, I show people how to save money on their taxes so they can enjoy more of life instead of less. Oh, I want to know about it. I show people how to work only 3 weeks a month, but get paid for 4 weeks. So these are icebreakers, which are, I mean, they are vital, they are key. So all what you basically just need to do is, when you build those connections that you have people ask you, is just to use these icebreakers. That's it. And when you use them, you will get 100% a yes. You will get 100%, well, that sounds great. What do you do? Or how do you do that? Or how can I get involved? Or can you tell me more? Can you give me a presentation? Can you show some information? Because this is what we want to get to. We want to get to that we can show people that 1 minute presentation. Okay, so let's go ahead. What do you do? What do you do for a living? Using, of course, more icebreakers. Well, you know how we all get lots of bills in the mail every month. Well, what I do is I show people how to get an extra paycheck in their mailbox to pay all those bills. Very different, isn't it?
Very.
Well, you know how there's never any money left for savings? Because you know what people do in their mind? They agree, yeah, Claudia, you're right. There's never any money left for savings. Well, I show people how to have a part-time business that fills their savings account quickly. What do you think people are going to ask or going to say? Tell me more. Yeah? Do you think, or do you see how this is very, very different to the approaches you may have learned before?
Yes.
You think you can work with them?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Great. Let's go ahead. Again, there's many of them, and all what you need to do is rehearse, use, because again, this is what we do. So not the first one or the second one or the third one. It may not be great because it still sort of feels, but it's get better. But we have to do it. So that means we have to approach, we have to talk to people. And when we use that, eventually they will come. It's just routine. You will have those icebreakers automatically. Maybe now it's, oh, there's many possibilities, but you will get them and you will find them, and automatically you will get into the habit once, of course, you do it like this. So building rapport is really key. What business you're in, you know how most people live paycheck to paycheck. This is why most people know that having an extra income would be useful. You know, prices have really increased lately since the virus. That's why most people know that having an extra income would be useful. Do you feel that things have gotten expensive now? Yeah, hell yeah. That's why most people know that having an extra income would be useful. Absolutely. And then, of course, what business you're in? Well, we are in the wealth building business, which means we help people to save and accumulate real income-producing assets which pay them residual money over a long period of time. Oh, that sounds good. Well, we are in the wealth building business, which means we show people how to make extra money through converting the paper currency, which buys them less and less over time, into gold and silver, which is stable, so that you don't have to worry about inflation. Oh, well, we are in the wealth building business, which means we show people how to have a better life by working smarter instead of harder, by accessing the same wealth building strategies like the wealthy people do. Oh, so all these things, of course, will get you yeses and yeses and yeses. And of course, then later, well, we are in a debt reduction business, which means, I'm blinking here with my eye, I'm not telling too much, but you know who I'm talking to. Well, we are in the debt reduction business, which means we show people how to get a higher credit score so they can start paying less each month. Oh. Mm-hmm. And let's go now to our speech, basically. So now, before we give, so we have now gotten the close. We have gotten the yes. Tell me more. Give me more information. We're at this stage right now. Now we go into what step? Step number 5, which is the presentation. Now, Sean is there. He told me, yes, tell me more, Claudia. Well, Sean, I can give you a long presentation or I can give you a short presentation. Which one do you prefer?
Short one.
Mm-hmm.
Short presentation, yeah.
Good. Now I say to Michelle, I can give you a long presentation or I can give you a short presentation.
A short one.
Now I talk to Audrey. Audrey, I can give you a long presentation or I can give you a short presentation.
Short presentation.
Now, why is that?
Time. Because we're all busy.
Yeah. Nobody wants a long presentation.
No.
So why do we then send our people to a 45 boring presentation, which Claudia does?
I was going to say, I may want a short presentation, but I still want detail and information.
But this is in the training step. This is great, but we first need to get the confirmation and the yes. All what we do is in the corporate presentation, what Dr. Blue greatly did today in his fantastic presentation is we made already a decision that we want to change our lives, that we want to do something, that we are not satisfied with our circumstances. So now they're learning more details of the presentation. They come to that, or they joined and now they're learning more about the company, about the founder, about the products, about where the products are manufactured. That all comes in the training, yes? But there's no point in giving them the training if they haven't made a yes decision, all right? So we can give you a short presentation or a long presentation. So, and then we ask, when can you set a minute aside so I can tell you more? We have to ask that because, again, we need to get their commitment that they are willing to be listened to a presentation. And it cannot be that, let's say, okay, so they're on their phone, they're busy, or maybe the kids are screaming and I'm going to tell my 1 minute presentation. No, I still have to ask, when can they set a minute aside? It's not anymore asking 45 minutes like back in the, okay, I'm not mentioning the company name, but in that times, it starts with an A, times where you had to sit down and you shut up. And like I said in the beginning of the presentation, it's not anymore these times. These have changed. But we still got to get a commitment that they set at least 1 minute of their time aside to fully listen to me, because otherwise it's no point. So when can you set a minute aside and tell me more? And most people will, of course, say, well, now is okay. All right. Well, you know how things are so expensive now. Yeah. Well, I show people how to have a second paycheck so they won't stress about money. I probably have talked to Michelle before, and Michelle told me, because in this building report that, you know, an extra 500 euro paycheck would be great for her because it would do this and this and that and whatnot. Because I talked with her. Well, Michelle, you know, if you want to earn an extra 500 euro a month, you have to do these 3 things. Number 1, you know how when you find something we like, we want to tell everybody about it, like our favorite restaurant, our favorite movie, etc., etc. So continue to recommend and promote the same things, those things you like, such as your favorite restaurant and movie. Number 2, we show people how to save and accumulate real assets such as gold and silver, so that over time you have more money in your pocket instead of losing by holding on to your dollars or British pound, which is buying you less over time. Number 3, well, what you have to do is help 3 people a month to also save and accumulate gold and silver so that they can have more money in their pockets. People who want also to receive an extra paycheck every month from the production of those assets, whatever, you know, say. Now, or from the rising of the gold. Now, you don't have to find all those 3 people right away, okay? You can do it in a month, you can do it in 2 months, you can do it in 3 months, you can do it in 10 years, whatever, okay? It doesn't really matter. So how fast, how slow, it's entirely up to you. Now, there may be one problem. Most people, and what I'm doing now is basically, because people are like this, they say, oh, I don't want to share. Oh, I don't want to talk to other people. Oh, I don't know anybody. So I already say, now, Michelle, there's one problem. I'm making you aware. Okay. Most people who are new into this business, okay, may not know how to know those 3 people or how to find those 3 people and what to teach them once they found them. Okay. This is why we have an education system in place to show everybody step by step exactly what they need to do and how to do it. Okay? Very simple. Just like we learn to walk, to read, to talk, etc. We can learn how to earn an extra 500 euros a month. And that's all. The rest is up to you. I'm closing. And that's all. That's closing. And the rest is up to you. That's closing. So what would you like to do next? What's the next question? Now I'm going into objections. What is your objections? What is the next question Michelle wants to know?
I would want to.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
How would I find out more?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
so, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What else? Okay, that's it. Okay, so Michelle, is the 500 or maybe you said to me, is the 500 a limit all, or can I earn more? Of course, you can earn more than that. And to find out more, of course, well, why don't we do this, Michelle? Why don't we set a time aside? So, or why don't I send you a more in-depth information so that you can look into it? Or why don't we set up a meeting? We can get together and I get you started and I show you everything what you need to know. Would it be okay?
Yes, most definitely. Thank you.
So very simple. Pretty simple. Everybody can learn that. And we have, of course, more 1-minute speeches here ready. So let's do another one. So Sean, or I do it with Audrey. Audrey, if you want to earn an extra €100 a month, all you have to do is those 3 things. Number 1, don't change. Be yourself, continue to recommend the things just as your favorite music or favorite movie. Number 2, I'm in the do-good business. What it means is we show people how to turn waste plastic into usable energy. Of course, this is more for Europe. Help the environment and make money by getting paid from the income produced from the recycling. Oh, number 3, all you have to do is 3 families a month to start a monthly asset plan to turn waste plastic to energy so they can start making money immediately. Now, you don't have to find those 3 people right away. Pace yourself. Slow yourself. You can take a month, a year, or 10 years. So what am I doing? I'm calming the person. I'm calming, I'm giving confidence. So Audrey doesn't need to be stressed out. Oh, where do I find all those people? How fast or slow is entirely up to you. But there may be a problem. Most people, when they first get started, don't know how to find those 3 people or what to say to them. That's why we have an education, a system that shows us exactly how to do this business step by step, just like we learned to walk, to talk. So what is the person thinking? Yeah, I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to talk. Yeah, I had to learn all those things. Sure, I can learn that. So what we do here is just with the person in front of, we calm the person, we say, yeah, I can do that. And the rest is up to you. No hard closing. The rest is up to you. You make the decision. I'm not making it for you. You make that decision. So what's going to be easier for you? To continue struggling with one paycheck? Oops. Or to start learning a system for your new business so that you never have to show up to work again. Good approach?
To start a business so that I wouldn't have to worry or struggle anymore.
Correct. Absolutely. So those are very, very simple ways. And again, we're going to provide you with plenty of different speeches so that you can, but of course it's good that you do your own speech, and you will eventually learn it. You will get it. Whatever words feel most comfortable for you, using exactly that frame. So it cannot be out of this frame, but of course adapted to your own words. Sean, have you developed yours?
No.
Okay. Michelle, have you developed yours?
Sorry, I've got some things that we use but need to
Do you want to try? Or not yet? Next time.
No. Next time.
All right. No worries.
Thank you.
No worries. I don't want to put you on the spot. Anybody wants to try? Anybody wants to try to say it or to do it in their own words? Come on.
Oh, I've got a script that we use and something else. Just like you say something like, who do you know that could use an extra £500 to £1,000 a month part-time if they could earn it in a few hours a week or something like that? That was one script that I used to use with something else.
Okay, but when Michelle, when do you use it? So let's say so when do you use it? I need to know, when do you use it? What point? At what?
That would be after I've had a brief conversation with someone and just forming them just to see, getting an idea. So after the initial, meeting them and having an initial conversation and getting to hear about them and what they do.
Okay, so I have. Does it mean I have built trust, and so I trust you now? I like you now.
Yeah, we've had a bit of a 5 minute. Yeah, kind of. Shush. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Because I get you. I learned that script as well. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It works sometimes. It works sometimes. It does work sometimes, but most likely not. So I learned that script as well. So
Hold on a minute. 1 minute. Can I shut up? Sorry, my daughter.
Oh.
I don't know if you all can hear her or not.
No, I couldn't. No.
No, of course you can't. I've got the earphones in.
No, I can't.
Okay. That script is true. It doesn't really. It might pique somebody's interest if they're in that place, but it doesn't really. It hasn't been that successful, to be honest.
No, and so I have to look. And this is the great point of it. We're going to eventually come to a realization, and that is we have been taught these things, and because this was what was being taught. I was taught that as well, but it just doesn't work. And so this is just the same like. We develop as human beings, we develop, Sean in his industry in IT, it's developing all the time. So you got to adapt to what is. So as I always say, when network marketing started, you had at least 6 months time before the new distributor was, had this first paycheck, and they would be still safe with you buying the products and services. Now, unfortunately, or whatever, how we want to see it, it's different now. 10 years ago, probably 12 years ago or so now, or maybe even 15, a new distributor, before he was making money, if let's say 3 months went past by, he wasn't making money, he would drop out. So he had 3 months. Now came 10 years ago, of course, with all this more applications on the internet and stuff like that. The 3 months went into 1 month. So in 1 month, the new distributor joins the business, not making any money, is out. But now we are in 2020. So if in 1 week the new distributor is not making any money, join the business, out. That's it. That's it. So that's just the way it is, unless he is super convinced and super duper and super whatnot, because this is the way it is. So we need to teach them very fast how to, in 20 minutes, very fast, learn how to build report, as you saw, very simple, 5 triggers, 4-step process. And again, 20 minutes, they can really learn that. You can just give them the scripts. I went really through it now, but you can give them the scripts, and that's it. And you rehearse them. So very simple, and they will have way less rejection, or hardly any rejection, because it's almost rejection free. But we got to do it. We got to show them straight away. So change that. We have it in our quick start training that they put a list there. But yes, while they put their name, they do their quick start training, they fill their list in, we at the same time teach them to, of course, go through this process, to teach them, of course, to build this report, those 5 trigger questions, those 5 trigger things. We teach that to them straight away in their first training. They have that. And then I'm going to even show you how to write 2 phrases in your inner hand, just like we did when we were in school. I never remember. I always, I didn't cheat, but not cheating, but how do I call that? Well, maybe it's cheating when you write it into your hand and then you anyway, I did that at school, so probably you did as well, because I didn't know, I couldn't remember. So, I put it there. And you can do that. You can even do that. Your new prospect, write it in your hand. And when they talk to somebody, they have it here. 1, 2, there. So pretty simple, but we got to teach that to people that they have that, and then they will see better results. And then all what you do at the end of the presentation, pretty simple. If you're new, and the person said, well, how do I get started? Well, why don't we do this? Let's find a time to sit down with my friend, Dr. Blue. He has been doing this business way longer, has more experience than I do. So he is someone I definitely want you to meet with. Why don't we do that? Let's get on a phone call with Dr. Blue. Now, he's been a long time in this business, very successful. And I want definitely that you meet with him. Very simple. So you edify, of course, in a freeway call. If we can't do, I love meetings personally, but if we can't, we have Zoom, we have phone. I mean, there's so many opportunities. Everybody's now used to, it's not anymore the thing, well, I need to go offline. No, everybody's online now. Everybody's on the phone. So let's get Dr. Blue on the call. Let's get Sean on the call. Let's get myself on the call. Let's do that. And that's it. And this is our lesson for today. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that you learned something, and let's get better. Any questions?
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Very good. Thank you, Claudia.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any questions, anything you, or you're fine, you're going to re-listen to it and you're going to get the scripts.
Yeah, I'm going to have to re-listen to it. I need to look at the scripts as well. It would be good to
definitely
get the PDF to read through it.
Awesome.
practice.
Practice. Yes, let's do it. I'm going to upload it as soon as the recording is finished. And of course, very soon, I'm going to give you some of the scripts I'm putting into the Facebook group already, and the others you will get in this new guide as soon as this is finished. Okay?
Awesome.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Claudia.
Dr. Blue, a great presentation today, Dr. Blue, as well.
Yes, he did.
Thank you, Claudia.
Don't think you heard me, but yeah.
Thanks, Ayala.
You might be driving or something.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Good night.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
Catch you. Thank you. Bye. God
Thank
bless.
you.
Bye.
God bless. There were some questions here.